All right. Hello, everybody. And, welcome back to another episode of the Versatility Podcast. I'm your host, Juelz.
Okay. Run us down.
Let me take you down. But, you see, I'm here today. Sorry, guys, for the last 2 weeks. If you don't know, I was out in Jamaica 2 weeks ago. And then last week, it was Thanksgiving weekend, week/weekend. I was with the famo in Milwaukee. Literally, as soon as I dropped down back in Baltimore from Jamaica, the next day, well, actually, technically 2 days, but I came in at the night. So technically, basically, like 1 day later, in the morning as well, I went back home to Milwaukee. And it was a long last 2 weeks, a blessed last 2 weeks, but long. I had some good food and everything. Did you have any good food? You had the good food, right?
Of course, Thanksgiving.
Okay,
absolutely.
Just making sure. I'm just making sure that you had some good food. Okay, that's all it is. Mac and cheese was slapping.
Oh, you don't know nothing about my dad's mac and cheese.
Oh, your pop's mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to try some. I might have to try some one day.
Absolutely.
All right, but hey y'all, this is episode 34.
Wow.
So, it's the Giannis episode, I gotta shout it out. Gotta shout out my boy, Giannis. He actually dropped 40 yesterday in a loss against the Lakers. AD dropped 44, but that's neither here nor there. It was Middleton's first game back. Don't trip. Your Warriors though.
Not too much. Not too much.
Are you a Curry fan? I'm
a Curry
fan. I be
fan.
forgetting.
You
finally admitted.
I was just for the versatility podcast. I'm gonna let y'all know. Yeah, I'm a Curry fan. So wherever he go, I'm gonna go.
So I want y'all to context this because ever since I want to say last year, I've been saying you are not a Warriors fan, you are a Curry fan. And you would try your hardest to really say you were a Warriors fan, and you finally stopped capping.
Yeah, I just feel like at this season in my life, it's time to fully step into my truth.
The Lord is like
pushing
you into
me
that.
To be truthful.
Very interesting.
So yes, I'm a Curry fan.
Okay, that's very, very interesting, Ash. But so we're about 3 minutes in. I didn't even introduce my guest. I just gotta do some banter or whatever real quick. But care to introduce yourself, homie?
Yes. So my name is Ashlyn Wilson. I'm a senior multimedia journalism major at the illustrious Morgan State University. Yep, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes. I mean, what type of other things you do though? I mean, you a busy woman, so you might as well start listing it off.
Wow, all of them?
Might as well. Let them know.
We'll do a quick rundown. I serve as Alpha Chapter President for Alpha Nu Omega Sorority Incorporated. Mm-hmm. I am also serving as President for the Morgan State Chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists, where Jew is also the mister for that org.
What's up, y'all?
Aside from that, I'm also a part of Bear TV, a little bit of WEAA, and I actually intern at WBAL TV 11 News right now. So.
And she's a singer. I don't know why you just didn't want to mention that.
I sing too. Jew also sings Juelz. That's so good.
That's probably the best one that's happened on here
so
far. And you still could have done better, but it's fine. It's fine. You're on the choir with me as well.
Yes.
She does a lot. The point is she does a lot. So I got somebody who does a lot, who's also one of my friends to talk about a lot of stuff. Because I got a lot of stuff to talk about. And when you're, a journalism major, you could kind of talk about a lot of different things. All you got to do is do your research, That's what we do every day. So, let's just keep it pushing with that. So, you ready to get started, homie?
Let's go.
All right, that's fine. All right. So, news today segment, y'all know what it is. 4 minutes in. Jesus Christ. All right. Got a long episode to go. But I'm going to start off with talking about just a little bit about the polls. There were some polls that happened on this Twitter account about what policies Democrats and Republicans are more worried about. And just to start off, this is on Twitter. Let me make sure I get the @ The @ was MU Law Poll. And I think it was this was just for Wisconsin specifically, but I'm going to just go off of that and keep it pushing from there. So this, again, it is just Wisconsin, but these are Republicans versus Democrats, so use at your own discretion for everywhere else. So the 4 policies with the highest support are increasing efforts to stop illegal immigration first. That's 94%. Increasing oil and gas production in the U.S., 93%. Limiting prescription drug costs, 89%. And hiring 200,000 more police officers, 83%. Again, this is only in Wisconsin, but this can kind of be a bit of a, what's the word?
State to state thing.
Yeah, more of a preview of what it's like worldwide. Again, this isn't concrete, but usually Republicans usually fall along with these things that they're saying that they want to find policies for the most, especially the illegal immigration and an increase in oil and gas, which why would you want to increase in oil and gas if it's already killing the planet? I never got that, like that kind of throws me off.
I don't know. I feel like after that oil spill that we had, I feel like increasing any type of oil. I mean, I guess it just depends on the need and the demand too. So, I mean, I don't know. But as far as that 200,000 increase for police officers, I don't know how necessary that is. I think we have enough law enforcement, not even just in Wisconsin, but like
everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
We've had so many problems, and of course, there's always good cops and bad cops. Yeah. Same things how there's always good black people, good bad black people, good white people, bad white people, good people, bad people, whatever. Good Christians, bad Christians. Like literally, there's good and bads to everything. But at the same time, I think it's more so not of a manpower problem when it comes to like policing and everything. Because I know Baltimore has its problems. Same thing is my home back home definitely has its problems as well. But it's like it's more so of training and getting rid of things that were taught to the people above them and not teaching them back to them. It's like when you're joining an organization that, had a sketchy history or whatever, but, you have that one leader who went through the BS, so then he can make sure it doesn't happen again. It's like that type of thing. I think it's more so of that problem when it comes to policing and everything, because that's what irks me. Like, we need more police officers. There's so much crime. Yeah. Well, yeah, but at the same time, we have systematic racism. We have all this other stuff too, and then the pandemic made it worse because people are not mentally stable.
All. Not mentally stable.
So it's like there's all these different things, and if you think police officers and policing is what we need more than anything, but then we can have and this the part right here, because then we can have something where a black person gets convicted of something and it's minimal, but they get 3 years. But then you only want to cry about mental health when it's the white person who kills 3-4 people, and then he can get off for just saying he was crazy. You see that you pick and choose when you want to say that mental health and all that stuff is a problem. Doesn't make sense. So then, but you want more policing. We want to police black people.
I completely agree. But for me, I think we preach defund the police, and while I do agree in like most aspects, I don't think that policing should be getting as much funding as they do, but I do think that if we put our money towards getting them better training, I will be all for that. Because I mean, after we implemented the cameras on their body, and that was good, we used it, that was great, but I feel like there's still so much more that needs to go into training as far as how to deal with people, just learning how to interact with regular citizens.
They have no people skills.
Yeah, they don't have people skills. And because to me, it's just customer service. That's really what it really is. And it's all in the approach too, because people have this idea of law enforcement. We look up to law enforcement. We really do, because they uphold a standard. And they essentially do have some sort of power. But I just think that if we were to have some camaraderie between civilians and police officers, things would be a lot better.
Definitely. I agree. I agree. What was I gonna say? There was another thing just about don't you hate mind blanks? It's like I'm shooting blanks in my memory, But I agree with everything overall. I definitely think it's not more of a defund, but it's reallocation of
Yeah.
funds because we need police officers. That's
We do.
point blank period. Although they were originally used to capture slaves, but that is neither here or there. You need some form of law enforcement and things of that nature. Yeah. I like how limiting prescription drug costs were on here though. I feel like that is. It's getting a little ridiculous. Have you seen that as well?
No, yeah, I've seen an increase in ordering like prescription drugs, even over the counter medicine, like a lot
basic
of,
stuff.
Yeah, basic things like necessities. For me, I don't think that basic necessities should be skyrocket high. Like I feel like if this is something that we need on a daily basis, we should be able to afford those things, especially prescription drugs. Like if I'm paying so I can be healthy, like I shouldn't have to pay $300-$400 for a prescription drug. Like I just think that's crazy.
No, it is crazy. I know they're also like increasing the prices on like woman stuff for like when you're at periods and things of that nature.
Yeah.
I didn't know the right terminology to say, but you know they're really increasing those stuff. And I remember there was several different bills. There was one in New York where they were like taxing for it or something, and it was like, who are you just to make women spend more money on basic things that they literally need? You know, I mean, you know, of course they didn't have it all the way back then or whatever, but like it's there now because there was a need, and now you're increasing it. It's the same thing when you go about abortion, all these other different things. Like, why are you meddling so much in women's, you know, that's their stuff and everything. Of course, men have a part to play in the pregnancy part, but like still, it's like, yo, like what you doing? You know, like it's about freedom of choice and things of that nature, and that just never stuck right with me at all. But to move on to a little bit about what the Democrats say, 96% also are talking about limiting the cost of prescription drugs. So look, they're on the same page for something. A new voting rights law at 94%. I doubt that was probably that was probably in the low 10% for Republicans. Increasing funding for renewable energy production and increasing tax on incomes over 500,000. So that's and that one's at 91%. Okay. I agree with majority of these. I do. Energy production, which literally goes in the opposite direction of the oil and gas thing for the Republicans. You see, it's just these juxtapositions, and you know.
How do you feel about the increasing the tax rate for income over 500,000?
It depends. Yeah. Because some people are actually paying their taxes, and now they're getting, you know, they're having to pay more. Like I know. You're a J. Cole fan, right? You know, you're a big J. Cole fan like me. He in the song Brackets. Yeah. He literally talked about it. Usually I could say that's song word for word, but I heard in a while. But he was just like basically like, why I gotta pay these taxes and then like I don't even get a say in where they're going. And he says they end up using my stuff to make guns that circulate the country and then wind up in my hood making bloody clothes, hit a young bullet with a snotty nose. Nah, his body froze. that like, you know, like it's little things like that. It's like, well, if I end up paying my taxes, which is a lot of money considering the money he already has. I mean, if you think about it, even with our regular wages and stuff, like I know we all hated to see when you see the big thing of how much money you made and then how much they take out, and you're like, yo, I be like, yo, how much, like, wait, what's going on?
No, like,
bro?
What's actually going on?
Because that don't be making sense sometimes, and you just be like, yo, like, you just took all my money, like, yo, I worked all this hard.
On a broader scale, I just feel like we definitely should know where our money is going, and I'm not quite sure if like the government is actually very transparent about where our money goes.
They're not.
They're
not. And
so I just feel like I mean, while taxing on income brackets over $500,000 is great, I do still think there needs to be transparency, because if we're gonna do that, then let's make sure that our money is going where y'all say it's going. So.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Ash. You know, like that's literally what it is, because I agree that it should be taxed more for some people, or really just maybe not tax more, but more of an enforcement of said taxes for people who do not. Donald Trump. You see now that Kanye started going crazy. I actually just saw something as well. Well, quote unquote crazy. I think that's a whole nother conversation right now. And we'll kind of dive in that. Not too much though. Not too much. But now the IRS is starting to come after him because of just the things he's saying about Jews and stuff like that. You see, it's that pick and choose stuff.
Right.
You know, if he wasn't paying his taxes earlier, then what's going on? Because you taxing us people who need money more. Kanye has a lot of money, bro. He was a billionaire. I don't know if he still is now.
Yeah.
After losing, I think about 6 or 7 partnerships. I talked about that on like 3-4 podcasts ago.
Right.
But I'm like, why weren't y'all, taxing him earlier? Oh, because, he was being, decent and everything, or Trump was being decent and he had connections and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't have to pay your taxes now, but then we have to pay our taxes. Like what? Like what type of mess is that?
Right.
I mean, I understand connections are like power and things of that nature, but that's ridiculous. I just want you to, like, that is utterly ridiculous. Insane. Because then you're forcing us to pay tax. We don't have a say. We don't have those connections.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense, and that stuff really pisses me off. That favoritism stuff. But then it's America, pay your taxes, Uncle Sam, and all that stuff. But then if you have a favor, if you know somebody, then you don't have to.
You can get around it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when people try to with orders or something like that. Like they know somebody, I'm gonna just get in, blah 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 blah. Or I'm gonna get this job just because I know this person. Okay, but you know the person, but you also have to be qualified for said job.
Right.
Hence why a lot of black people don't get jobs. They'll be qualified, but they don't know that person, or they're not the other skin color, so then they don't get the job. It's the same type of favoritism BS that happens in really not even just the U.S. but in the world altogether, and it's irritating. It's frankly irritating.
Well, I have a question then, Jude.
Yes.
Do you stand by the saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know?
I do stand by that. But at the same, that's why I was saying also you have to be qualified though.
Right.
Like it goes by. I just don't like it when you just know them and you just get in, because also when I know, let's say I have a job, right, and then you want a job at said place, right. I know you, and I know you can put in the work. Therefore, I'm gonna put a good word in for you, because I know you're gonna put in the work. Because you're not only representing yourself, you represent me, and now my credibility can be shot if you mess up. What I basically said, you're gonna be good for the company, right? And it's the same way, vice versa. Like if it's someone else, and then I'm like, I know that their work can be so. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give them a shot, and then they mess it up. They're not taking my recommendations no more. They might end up firing me if they mess up, that bad. Yeah. That's why I'm saying like it goes like both ways. And with taxes, you can't do that. Like it's just like it's taxes. True. Pay your taxes, bro. Like we can find some type of compromise, but y'all don't. No, nobody wants to compromise. All y'all want to do is either this or that, and that's the problem. That's why we stuck here today.
Wow, Jules.
So
Jules is passionate about this one, y'all.
I'm just, it's the same stuff. That's why I like.
Yeah.
It's like everything is not one or the other. It's usually in between, or it's steadfast on one side, but nobody's gonna give in. So either way, just choose the middle. But no, nobody wants to do that. I'm sorry. This is something I've talked about so many times. I hate that stuff so much.
No, I agree.
But a new voting rights law though, that's something I definitely would like to see a little bit.
To see the context of that, like the new voting rights law. Like, what does that entail?
I feel like it would just be more specific, and say like, if you do certain things, okay, you can lose this. Like there are literal politicians who, I think it's like PA or Georgia or something, who like tried to stop an election or something like that, or like halt the results for this past midterm. Also, shout out to everybody who voted the midterm. Hey. But like, and so like I think they literally lost a seat because of it.
Okay.
Because they tried to halt the results and stuff.
Absolutely.
And granted, this little results thingy and all that stuff didn't start until Trump said something. Which Trump is a catalyst for a lot of bullshit that's happening within the last, what, it's been 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Almost 8 years since he got onto the political scene since he got higher in the political scene, because he had tried to run as a Democrat a long time ago. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
He ran as a Democrat a long time ago, back in like the 1900s, I think. And then he switched to Republicans, realized who his people were. And it's not all of them. I know some good Republicans. I lean towards Democrat. I would try to say I'm more independent, but Democrats lean towards majority of my views, but I don't agree with everybody all the time.
And that's valid.
And you shouldn't. It's because everybody's a little bit of but I would say, just for a voting rights law, just having more like specifics on what you can and cannot do, and if you try to obstruct an election and try to say different things, like even Mike Pence was like, yo, that man put my family in danger because of that stuff. He said there was no falsification of the results. The man is tweaking because he's literally in charge of that committee side. And he's like, yo, what did you do? Like, even your VP is like, yo.
He outed you, man.
Like, that's what I mean. Imagine your VP just outed you. Like, yeah, I don't know what they was doing. You know, Ash was just tripping. You know, I don't know. Like,
nah, if you can't stick beside me, then something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So something really ain't right.
Yeah.
So, but all that to say, there's a lot of things going on in the world. A lot of things that need to be fixed. A lot going on. Democrats and Republicans work together more. That's it. I doubt it's gonna happen. I pray that it does happen, but just work together. Any last words regarding that at all?
Yeah, I think that's something that everybody wants to see. I think we all want to see some sort of like bipartisan camaraderie between Democrats and Republicans. Are we gonna get there? I don't know. I really don't know, because there are some on both sides who feel strongly about one thing, that there's no middle ground. But I think that's also a beautiful thing to have when you live in a democracy too, that you have differing, sides or differing point of views. But I think what makes it even more special is being able to see the heart of people and seeing civilians and being able to meet the need and finding that middle ground between both, and where you don't have to like fight over small things or act like children,
literally children in
literally
suits.
act like children. But yeah, I think just meeting the heart of the people is really what's important at the end of the day.
Meeting the heart of the people. That's Ashlyn J. Wilson reporting live from Baltimore, Maryland. But moving on, because again, I got a lot of stuff. So Shanquella yes, Shanquella Robinson situation. This is a big thing. Happened in the black community. A lot of things have transpired around it. Shout out to Black Twitter for putting it on the radar. But if you don't know, okay, here's basically the situation. I need to write this down. But essentially, there was a lady named Shanquella. She went on a trip with her friends to Cabo, Mexico or whatever. On the trip, we don't know if it happened before or after, before or during the trip, but there was some beef with her and her friends. It was about 3 other girls and then 2 guys. When they got in their hotel room or Airbnb, whatever it was, they're on the same one, had their own rooms, yada, yada, yada. There was a video of Shanquella having an argument with one of the other roommates. And basically, they ended up fighting. Shanquella lost, but as she was losing, they kept hitting on her. Like, over and over and over again. Nobody stopped the other girl. They all just sat there and watched. Eventually, video cut off after a while. But allegedly, some other people came to beat her as well. There was like 2. I told you there's 3 other girls. I think all 3 of them ended up like beating like her. And then she ended up dying. But what happened was also, they kept it under wraps. Yeah. They basically ended up returning home with her suitcase and stuff, but left her body there. I don't know what type of friends y'all are, but them ain't friends. Them ain't friends. And then they gonna tell the mom,
Yeah.
you know, oh, she's not coming back, yada, yada,
Yeah.
yada. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? She's like 23 years old as well.
Yeah.
Basically, it was all under wraps. The friends ended up going incognito, whatever you want to say. These are all black people, by the way. Over time, Black Twitter got a hold of the case. They started advocating hard for it. Everybody's retweeting it, yada, 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 all that. Ended up getting on national news type stuff, or really at the front of Black Twitter and everything. Yeah. This was about around 11/23, around like the 23rd, 24th of November, somewhere in the 20s. It's literally like 2 weeks ago. Thankfully, they ended up, getting it on radar and stuff. As of right now, there are warrants out for I think 2 people.
Yeah.
Right now, in regards to the case, the mom also thanked Black Twitter because she said without Black Twitter, the case would not have been heard, because literally a story from the New York Times was not posted on this until about, again, around 11/23, 11/24, something like that, when the case happened way earlier than that. So, it was like, it's under wraps, and then like nobody said anything, but it was brought to the light by Black Twitter. So it's really just a sad sight to see. And even the dad was like, yeah, there has to be something going on. Like they had to have been plotting on her, yada, yada, yada. But if y'all knew that it was something going on beforehand, I understand y'all paid for a trip, but I don't know, bro. That's just weird, man.
I think the whole story is just, it's really crazy to think about, because if you think about the timeline, number one, it happened in October.
It happened in
October. So the case didn't get light until about this month.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, like maybe top of last month in November. But just even the fact that like she had paid for some of her friends to go on this trip.
She did?
Yeah, she did.
I didn't know.
She paid for some of her friends to go, and apparently they had stolen money from her as well. And I just think it's disheartening to hear that those things were transpiring.
Those are not friends.
And even I don't know if people have seen the video clip, but in the fight video, the guy was screaming at Shanquella saying, "Are you going to fight back?" And she said no. She said no. Like, I honestly think that in that moment, she didn't want to fight back. She didn't want to fight her friends, because those were her quote unquote friends. Why are we fighting? We're on a trip in Mexico. Why are we fighting?
Paid for y'all trip, too.
Paid for the trip.
Paid for y'all trip.
And I just think what the issue really is deeply rooted in hatred. It's deeply rooted in jealousy, that these people did not want to see Shanquella succeed. She had her own business. Like, she was really doing the thing. Like, she's a black girl and she's winning. And I think those friends did not want to see her continue. And I just think the crazy part is, like, my thing is, I'm never going to go on a trip with people who don't like me. And now, granted, she may not have known, but like I personally, especially out the country, nope, you won't catch me doing it. I will not be doing that.
Yeah, I think the Mexican police or Cabo police, they started like investigating and things of that nature, thankfully. But I think this brings up a bigger conversation of protecting our own when it's against other black people, because we do a really good job of when it's police versus black people and things of that nature, and just putting those cases out and all that stuff. And it was really great to see that that we was really like saying like, yo, this happened, like we need to talk about this, keep spreading it, Black Twitter, yada yada yada, because sometimes that doesn't happen. And we try to like, and I know white people would say, or at least some white people would say, because I'm not gonna say all of them, they would say, oh, it's police on black crime, but what about black on black crime? We had a conversation at WEAA. We had a round table. I know you don't be there as much no more, but we were talking about this specifically, and I had brought up, I said we have the black, we have police on wasn't crime, but what about black on black crime? Because I saw a tweet that was like, y'all do all that, but like when it's time to really protect our own against our own, where's the advocacy? And thankfully there was this time, but Jada had to say, like, because they weren't they thinking when I said black on black crime that I meant like because of race. No. Because that 9 times out of 10, actually 9.99999% out of 10 is not that. It's more so of a jealousy thing, or it's more so of a foolishness thing, really, honestly. And just people being
petty. It's
petty.
Really just pettiness.
Yes, and just ridiculous about the most minuscule of things, and end up taking somebody's life because you couldn't control yourself. And then the people around you also didn't stop you from doing what you were doing. And it's just more, and like I said, also with Jay and all of them, it was like it's also about, I understand we have the impoverished communities, we have systematic racism, we have all these things that put us in these situations, but eventually, and I know we collectively understand and we know we need to change the hoods and all this stuff. Yeah. But the advocacy for it and saying that we're against these things is not prevalent enough for me. It seems like we have gotten complacent or used to these things happening, so then it doesn't get broadcasted enough. Yeah. Or, we deal with in our communities, if he shot him, we're going to make sure we get it back in blood, that type of stuff. And I understand that. That's valid, but at the same time, when you take someone's life and then you take their life because they took their life, then it's just the endless cycle of hatred over and over and over again. You could say the same thing for how, and I know this is a stretch right here, but how you had you had us being enslaved once, and then it just kept happening over and over and over again. And then just even with other things that happened before that, just a lot of just stuff that once you do it once, then you redo it, then you do it again, then you do it again. It keeps spreading over and over again, and it seems like we just got complacent with that, and it just really sucks.
Yeah, and I think we need to be whistleblowers about seeing black on black crime as well, because when we see the hatred outside of our community, like when it's black on white crime, we scream. We're black and we're proud and we're saying it loud, and that's
crying.
Great.
You killed my baby, right? That type of stuff.
Exactly, and that's great. We love that, but we also need to be intentional about fixing our communities too, because that's also a real issue. It's a real issue that we have black on black crime, and we have these generational cycles of killing our own brother and our sister over petty offenses. And I just think that it's about time that if we're going to also fix the issue of black on white crime, let's also fix the issue of black on black crime as well, because that's also very detrimental in our community. Yeah,
and I feel like the only way to do that for the most part is to have our voices there to say what we actually need, because I think they don't a lot of people who are outside of the situation don't understand what we need. Even me myself, like I moved out of the hood when I was about 9-10 years old. But, I know people who live in those areas still and things of that nature. But even I would have to talk more to those people about what's happening. Like, it's not even just about, because he's black, he knows what we need, It's more so talking about to the people in the community, or have actually been and talked to those people in those communities and asking them, what do we need to help improve? And I think equity is a really big thing. Yeah. Not equal. Equals a little bit different. It's more so about equity, and we need equalness too. But equity in terms of giving the people exactly what they need, not the same amount as other people, but exactly what they need, so then they can start building it from there. Yeah. Because that's what equity means. It's close to equal, but it's just giving the people the right resources. Like, you're not gonna give somebody who's homeless $1 million. But you're going to give them a place, to stay. Probably,
it's a share.
Then we can work our way from there. And as you build your knowledge or put in work in whatever you're doing, then we start to increase it. Mm-hmm. Because if you go from 0 to 100, that's too quick. You know, like you got to
it's levels to it.
There's levels to things, and that's the same thing in these communities, because still you can't just hand you all the money in the world. And that's another conversation about reparations as well. That's because technically we kind of do, because we deserve some stuff, but at the same time that has That's a slippery slope too.
I mean, I think it starts with our HBCUs. I really do
You
think.
talking about give the HBCUs the money first?
Yes, absolutely. I think HBCUs, like, not to even really go off topic, but I really honestly think that a part of our reparations is pouring into our community for education. Like, there are Black students who are attending HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. And I think that those students who are seeking that higher education, our reparations need to start there. Free education.
Okay, so then what about for people who don't go to HBCUs?
That's a good question. I think for those who don't go to HBCUs, I mean...
You see? Because then you see it?
It does get tricky there. But I feel like they deserve it as well. I mean, it doesn't take away the fact...
Deserve?
Yes.
And giving.
Deserve.
And allocation.
Yes.
It's three different things, you know?
Yes, deserve.
They deserve. I'm not saying they don't deserve it because, you know, I've seen the government give out reparations to a lot of other people that don't look like us. For things that happen.
I'm talking about reparations in the Black community.
No, I know. I'm just saying, so like deserving it and then the giving out of it. I mean, we're already trillions of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
So it's whatever at this point. You might as well just get what's above trillions? I don't even know what's above that.
Literally beyond me.
Yeah, you might as well just keep the debt going. We ain't never paying it off. All right, like it's just not happening unless we find the gold mine of gold mines. Like we ain't paying that off. So you might as well just increase it. But I understand. We deserve it. I get that. That's true. But at the same time, how are we, allocating that? Like that's my main thing. I feel like reparations are definitely something that need to happen. And really, the reparations, if we're being honest, reparations would be just about this whole country because we built it on our backs. Literally, you can't have cotton and like the stuff that you have without us. Like literally. I understand it's kind of hard to give out reparations to some different people because there are white people who have Black blood. There are Black people who have some white blood. There are some Black people who are part Indian, part Asian, part African, part South American. Like it's a little bit of a weird. It's a slippery slope. Like it really is because it's really y'all messed us up during slavery. But that's a whole another mess up lineage and stuff like that. It's a hard thing to. It's such a hard thing to like in theory. You're like, oh yeah, just give out the money. But how is that mean? Because somebody's getting left out. Somebody's going to be left out.
That's a good point.
And somebody gonna be mad. And not everybody's gonna share their money. Respectfully. So
how do we go about getting reparations for our community when there's such a gray line?
That's what I'm trying to figure out because it's a hard thing to do. I think it should be. There should be some form of payment. Because laws and policies, that ain't enough. As we've seen, laws and policies can only do so much. Because people in America are still going to find loopholes to not uphold those things.
Okay.
Excuse me. I don't know. Like, honestly, like that's the better way to say it. I don't know, but I do want it to happen. It's just, that's a hard thing to do.
It is. It definitely is. But I think, like I was saying before, I think it goes maybe retracting my statements for individuals, but just pouring into institutions that have historical remnants of Black foundations, like HBCUs. I feel like funding HBCUs and allowing for money to flow within those institutions is a part of reparations. Like it may not go specifically to Black individuals, but we're pouring into the foundations of HBCUs, and I think that's where reparations can start. Though.
Okay, that's fair. But overall, just get back on topic a little bit because that's a good conversation though, and that's definitely something I want to expand on one day. Try to do my own research and everything. Definitely. But just overall, back to the Shanquella thing. I keep saying I don't remember how to say her name properly. Is that the way to say it? Was it Shanquella? Yeah. I had a friend back home named Jaquilla. Sorry, I called her Jaquilla because that's how I
joked around.
Yeah, I joked around. I called her Keela. That shout out to my friend Keela. But she was in my grade. But know your friends. Advocate for our people no matter what type of situation. And, we have to believe them. But if you're on the fence, then just bring awareness to the situation and go from there. Because sometimes people be lying too. Yes. So it's so hard. It's so hard to walk this line, but because it ain't straight. Oof. The line ain't straight.
Definitely not.
It's not straight. So, use your own discretion. And if you're religious, pray to God, ask for guidance. And if you're not, use your own discretion. Use your friends and other people and use your own discretion. So one last thing for news today. I sent it to you, but LeBron James basically, he calls for Jerry Jones to get the same treatment as Kyrie Irving. And we've talked about Kyrie Irving on this podcast before, just about how he shared a documentary that was about borderline anti-Semitism. Actually, anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is, basically the opposite of Jews. Semitism is Jewish. Anti-Semitism, you're anti-Jewish. Yada, yada, yada. Basically, the whole conversation, especially just dealing with Kanye as well, and then Kyrie, is the fact that black people used to be Jews. This is technically a fact to an extent because technically all people used to be black. That's a whole nother conversation.
That is a whole nother conversation.
Hebrews and Israelites. If you think about it real quick, Middle Eastern, Africa, what people live there, I'll leave that up to y'all from there. I'm not going to go more into that.
We got to get a part 2 for that one.
Yeah, I'm not going more into that. But basically, they came under fire and all this stuff. Granted, that more so current stuff. It happened right away. They got cancel culture, got on it right away. Kyrie Irving couldn't play basketball for a little, had to go through all these hoop laws and whatever, just for posting a documentary. Didn't say what he did or did not believe in, which did go against him, but that also should be for him as well because you don't know. But he didn't care to explain on it, so that made it worse. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. But so then we get to the Jerry Jones thing. Basically, Jerry Jones, who's the owner of the Cowboys, he's like one of the biggest figures in the NFL. Everybody knows him. He's the owner of the Cowboys. It's literally the freaking Cowboys. Everybody knows about the Cowboys. A picture showed up of Jerry Jones in 1957 being one of the teenagers who were blocking/watching black kids come into a desegregated Arizona school. Jones was 14 years old. He's about 1 month away from turning 15 years old. There was a Washington Post article about the photo and Jones' history with black people in his childhood, and then also with him not hiring black coaches, which is a big thing in the NFL. There are less than 5 coaches in the NFL. I think there's 3 black coaches in the NFL, and there's a lot of people who are qualified. And Jerry Jones has never hired a black head coach. He's hired some black staff and stuff, but that was not until I think it was back in in 2008. It was either 2008 or 1998 was the last time he hired one. Either way, it's been long. It's been over 10 years. It's been over a decade. And so the thing was, LeBron was like, y'all asked that media was because it's LeBron. Everybody asks LeBron about everything. They ask him about soccer. They ask him about random stuff that happened in black culture. They ask him about his kids, his family, other teammates, other people on different teams. That's why they ask him about Kyrie. And everybody knows LeBron is a big Cowboys fan. Or was now. Because he said he's not a fan of how Jerry Jones reacted with the Colin Kaepernick stuff.
He's a Browns fan now.
Yeah, he's a Brown. Yes, I mean that's his home area, I guess, because he could actually technically go for Cincinnati or the Cleveland. First of all, how did Ohio get 2 teams? How did that happen?
I don't know. That's a really good question. That's a really good
because
question.
Of all people, all states to get 2 teams. And the fact that California only had 1 team before then, and then but Ohio had 2 teams, and successful 2 teams at that. It's just
not too much.
I'm just saying overall. I know they're in your division. They're in your division. I know you're a Ravens fan. The Cincinnati Bengals. But it's just I don't know. That rubs me a little bit the wrong way. Actually, you have both of them in your division. That's weird.
The Browns, we do.
Yeah, just the Bengals, just the Bengals. No, it's Browns and the Bengals.
The Browns and the Bengals are in our division.
God, Lee, that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. I'm sorry. off track. But
to the point.
LeBron didn't get asked about it, and then he literally was like, "I'm kind of disappointed in y'all that y'all didn't ask me about this." Granted, and LeBron was like, "This happened back in 1950s. Like, we understand. Like, he could be a totally different person. I mean, there's no evidence to suggest that he is that much." Granted, because he didn't kneel, or he was like, if you're against the flag,
he told all of his players that if you kneel, then that's it for you.
He said that. I mean, he's Jerry Jones. I mean, listen, you ain't gonna be the owner of the Cowboys unless you a real American type guy, you know. I'm just
that's
saying.
A good point.
And eventually, Jerry Jones did end up kneeling with the players. There's a picture of him kneeling down.
Okay. But was that before or was that after he got? Was that after he was outed? For not,
I'm assuming it was definitely after.
Okay, so there's that.
And Colin Kaepernick, he been a little weird, since the thing happened. He had a little political stunt type thing and all that. But that's neither here or there. But that's a whole nother conversation. I think we talked about that on here as well. It's 34 episodes, a lot of episodes, man.
Talk about a lot.
Over 2 years. I can't remember everything. About to be 3 years. Jesus Christ. Hallelujah.
I'm crying.
But basically, Braun was just mad. And not mad, but just like, okay, what's going on? Like, why didn't you say anything to me about this? Especially considering he was a big Cowboys fan. So he was like, keep that same energy. Y'all came at Kyrie, and then y'all asked me about Kyrie and all this type of stuff for just posting a documentary, not even saying what he believed or didn't believe. But y'all not questioning me about that. And the reporter tried to cut him off. He said, I'm not finished. He said, I'm not finished. And then he left. He left gracefully after he finished what he said. That was great.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I like LeBron. I do, because one thing about him is he's going to advocate. He's going to stand up, and he's going to use his platform. And he has done that throughout his entire career. But as far as the Jerry Jones picture, now I did take a look at the picture. And I don't know if you, like, if you see like his face, he looks quite confused. Now, I'm not advocating for this man, but this man like he said in his statements, he did say he had some curiosity at the time.
But they knew about it ahead of time. So, okay, because I read like majority of the article. First of all, the article was long as shit. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that article was like I was scrolling and I'm scrolling. I'm like, I wonder how much is left.
Still scrolling.
I was like, yo, like, what's this article so long? But basically, Jerry Jones has played football, hence why he's owner, yada yada yada. Basically, his coach told him the day before or something like that. All the teammates, yo, don't go to this. We don't need y'all in trouble. We need y'all to be on the team. Yes,
I didn't know that.
They told him like, yo, don't go, yada yada yada. He ended up going anyway. Curious, whatever. And he literally said in his statement also, which is kind of contradictory. He's like, well, I was curious, but at the same time, I just didn't want to get in trouble by my coach. Why'd you go anyway? Wow. Like, yo, like, he literally told you not to go. And so, like, and I looked into his history as well. His pops owned a convenience store, and he actually let people, like, black people shop there. Mm-hmm. But then I read a little more, and his dad was like, well, having them shop at a store is a little bit different than going to school with them. I was like, okay. I see. So there's levels.
Looking at the root.
There's a little bit of levels, And then Jerry Jones also says, he's like, I never had problems talking to black people, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he has an NFL team. So, he has to interact with black people. But that doesn't mean that you want to give them the same, rights and things of that nature as you. So, it's a lot of, like, you know what I mean?
Thank you for that insight, Julian. No,
problem.
Because
it's my job.
I definitely think having that understanding now, because I didn't look too deep into his history as far as his family, but I think Jerry Jones, LeBron is right. We need to talk more about situations like that arise, because those get swept under the rug, and nobody ever talks about how Jerry Jones was standing in front of the high school and he was blocking black people from coming in. Mm-hmm. Nobody talks about that.
Blocking/watching. We don't know. Either way, he was a part of it. In some aspect.
In the picture, he was standing there.
He was standing there. He was standing
there. But his face, like I was saying, his face did look kind of confused. But now that you say that,
that's a picture though,
right? But now that you say that, he knew prior to the day that this was going to happen. That changes the entire narrative And for Jerry Jones to come out and say, I was a 14-year-old boy and I was curious. You were curious, but you knew. You can't be so oblivious, because at the time, segregation was a real thing.
Yeah, and they knew.
It was a real thing.
They
and
knew.
You see what's going on. Like,
and they turned those kids away also. Like those
absolutely.
black kids got turned away. Like it worked. So whatever they did, and whether he was a part of it or not, and helped, go against them or not, his presence helped those kids turn away.
Crazy.
Granted, it could have happened without him being there, but he was a part of it.
Yeah, and I think the deeper issue to this too is that reporters have to do better with doing their job as well. Because if we're going to be reporters and we're going to report on everything and we're going to be holistic, then we need to make sure that we are asking those questions when it comes to black athletes, and we're asking those questions when it comes to white team owners. We have to be consistent. So journalism is a great thing, but you have to learn how to do your job.
We're going to be those, I mean, who knows? If I get something in entertainment or something like that, I'm taking
Juelz.
it. You add a little gospel to it.
Yo, put me on the track.
But there was another thing. See, I had to scroll down in my notes a little bit. Stephen A. Smith said it's not fair to him because, again, he's 14-year-old and not even an adult yet. So again, that still plays to the factor of him being. He's young, he's going to make mistakes, stuff happen. Because even though it is segregation, like you said, and I agree.
Yeah.
He's 14.
He's 14.
He's 14 years old, so I understand that. And so it's not exactly super fair to criticize it all the way. But our problem is not the criticism. No, is there a zation word for that? No, there isn't.
I think it's criticism.
It's just criticism.
Yeah.
Damn, I tried to be smart. All right. But it's more so of just raising the question,
Yeah.
And it was just surprising to LeBron specifically, and even to me, that he just didn't get a question about it, and he was berated with questions about Kyrie Irving. Now, him and Kyrie Irving used to play, and they won a championship together, scoring 40-point games back to back, and stuff like that in the finals. But it was just very interesting that, that he just didn't get a question about it, and that just threw him off, and it threw me off. So, but any last words regarding that, Ashlyn?
I love LeBron.
I'm not a huge LeBron fan overall.
I love that man.
Giannis blocked the hell out of him yesterday, though. Ooh,
right.
That was a great block. Great block.
I didn't watch the game.
They won the game. The Lakers. Lakers
I love
won.
LeBron.
Lakers won. But
shout out to you, LeBron.
It was Middleton's first game back.
Those are my last words.
What? You love LeBron?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by love?
I love that man.
Exactly. Never mind. I'm just gonna.
No, he's he's a family man.
He is.
I love him because he calls people out and he's gonna say what he needs to say. He uses his platform.
I love LeBron the person, and I love LeBron the athlete as well. But just sometimes he just irks me sometimes with some of the things that he does. But that's every player.
Every player, every person. You're gonna have those icks.
Oh, that's another thing. Bron be capping. Bron be capping.
Oh, not the Bron be capping.
Well, you don't be seeing the memes for that.
Nah.
So there's a few things about LeBron. So LeBron, there's like few things with him. He'll do this thing. Well, one, he's always on the first page of a book. Have you seen that? Like every time he's like reading a book, he never get past the first page. And on top of that, like when Kobe scored 81 points, he had an interview. And we know he was capping because he was like, it's before the game started happening. He was like, yeah, I just knew he was gonna score 81. I just knew he was gonna have a big game. I saw him before the game. I saw Brian be capping, and he'll like be like, he said, but he be saying in interviews like, he like, yeah, I just knew this was gonna happen. The sky was blue, the sun, the cloud. Like you gotta look these memes up. I can't believe you missed it.
No, I have no idea. But
gosh,
we will not take any LeBron hate.
It's not hate. It's not hate. It's just
or
it's the
LeBron
truth.
Call out culture.
LeBron know he be capping, bro.
Like nah, LeBron, we gotta call that out. LeBron,
No.
if you lying, come on.
I'm showing you these memes afterwards, but
Please,
it's a big
please
thing
do.
because every time it's Everybody, there's a whole meme going out. Like when something happening, like before, like if somebody scored 40, it's that picture of LeBron in that interview saying,
I knew this was gonna happen.
I just knew this was gonna happen, man. You know, I talked to him before the game. You know, like this is one of my favorite memes. I'm not gonna lie. It's hilarious, even when it's something political. Like, cause I be following basketball accounts. So then you see a LeBron thing underneath with something that has nothing to do with him. Yeah, I just knew USA was gonna, pull out the dub today.
Like, Lord.
You know, like just random stuff.
The World Series?
Yeah, the World Series and stuff. Also, they play today at 2:00.
What team?
USA and versus Netherlands.
Okay.
Netherlands.
Okay.
By the time this podcast comes out, it'll be whatever. But on to the thick of it for the rest of the podcast. We got out of the news segment, talked about a lot, and there's even more I can talk about as well. There's Brittany Griner. There's more stuff with that. There's some other stuff, but listen, I ain't trying to have this be too long. All right, we already at 55 minutes, I got other stuff I want to talk about because you're a very, busy individual and you got a lot of things you could talk about as well. So I got my friend on the podcast finally. So, going to the next thing. End of the semester. Again, we go to the illustrious Morgan State University. We're about to graduate in spring 2023. I'm literally about to do an interview for one of my projects right after this podcast using one of these mics.
We are closing out.
We are closing out the year. It is that time. Yeah. And we're reaching that point, and we talked about this like 2-3 days ago. Mm-hmm. Time to get a job. It's time to get an internship. It's time to, to really start moving our careers forward.
Yes.
And and one of the things that plays a part in all this is you have Senioritis and you have your organization. She's the president of 2 orgs. God bless her heart. Like there's a lot of things going on. And I just want to have a conversation just about this journey that we're on towards the end.
Jill, I'm so happy to be here at the end. I really am. We're closing out in the fall semester of 22. And I can just say that this semester has been a roller coaster, like literally so many highs, so many lows, like just learning. And even in my senior year, I'm still learning how to balance, how to manage, and which I think is a really good thing. But, I'm just happy to be closing out because when I tell you guys the semester be semestering.
Oh, semestering. That's a no one.
Oh, yeah, my gosh. Yeah. But I just think for me, I think this year I've really been trying to focus on my mental health because in previous semesters I have allowed school to determine how I feel. Not even just like how I feel about myself, how I feel about my grades, how I feel about just a lot of things. And I never liked how that school could control my emotions in that way. And so this semester was more like I'm taking back, like I'm getting back everything that school thought it could take from me. And I've just really been focusing on staying level-headed and understanding the goal, understanding what I have to do, but also allowing myself to feel and also listening to my body too. Like if I need to rest, I'm going to take time to rest. Or if I can't show up to class today, I'm sorry, I can't. Or if I can't show up to internship, I just can't. I'm sorry. Because I have to prioritize me. So I think that's something I've learned. And you can attest to the struggles that we both had over these past 4 years.
Talk about growth.
Yeah. It's been a lot of growth.
I'm always on you about you taking care of your mental health, and I'll be trying to do the same for me.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
It's
really
hard.
That's real. Managing your mental health is very hard, but you just really have to be intentional about trying.
If you're not taking care of your mental health, then eventually you're going to reach a point to where you hit a wall. And that wall shows no mercy. It really does. And you'll run smack into it. And it's dang near an invisible wall like that because you're nearing it, but you keep running anyway. Yeah. And you hit it hard because you're just running. Like one of my songs, running, 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 it's been going on.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know if y'all took a deep dive into my lyrics or anything, but it's about literally I'm just running all the time, and I know you run all the time, and a lot of us in student orgs, but just who just want to be successful in our lives. We're just always running, and like I literally say, like, one of my lyrics, mine always be working on the fritz. I'm going on a blitz, like, because I'm just doing stuff, and my mind may not be fritz, meaning like it's like it's on the fritz, like it's on the fringe of hitting a wall. It's on the fringe of going a little bit insane, but I'm still going on a blitz. Like, in a blitz in football, that's basically a lot of people are running towards the QB to get a sack or to apply pressure. And that's literally me a lot of the times. And that's a lot of us. And when it's our senior year and we're trying to prioritize graduation, or sometimes people don't even prioritize graduation and they're prioritizing their orgs and stuff like that instead of trying to, graduate.
Getting out.
And getting out. And some people might not be ready for getting out, so then they prolong it, but that's fine. But a lot of people get their priorities mixed up.
Yeah.
Because they end up putting too much effort into things that aren't important. They're definitely important, but you have to find a balance, because at the end of the day, you're a student first. Whether you say student athlete or student leader or like student aide or whatever you're a student first. That has never changed. A lot of people think that they're here for like organizations, or they're here for to do all these great things at the school, but you're also here for an education. And education is the extent of your connections as well. Because me personally, I go to school for networking and connections. Hence why I changed my major to multimedia journalism, because I felt like that was the best way to use my ability to network and get connections, So like it's those type of things is why I came to college. Then I have to take a break. Like, I'm not president of my organization anymore, because I realize I have to put myself first, but I'm still doing other things. But it's like I have to take a step back and work on the things that I know need to be done first. Like if I was still president, I probably would not have the time to do my podcast, because that's a lot of more energy that I have to put into it. And I know, like, if you weren't, doing as much, you could put it into other things. Like when you take it out, you could put towards things that mean more in the long run and things of that nature. And the things you do also mean more in the long run. But I'm saying, like, there's different, there's just, you have to pick and choose your battles.
You do.
And then you have senioritis on top of that, like with all those things going on, you're like, yo, I'm tired of school. I'm not even talking about from a third person. No, I am tired of school. I'm sick of it, especially with this major, because it's like, yo, I know how to do majority of the things that I need to do. At this point, I just need experience.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you be feeling the same way about that?
Yeah, I do. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we learn in the School of Global Journalism, it can be very repetitive, but I think for our major, it's more so application. Like, we take what we learn from inside the classroom, and you can choose whether or not you want to apply it. But really, your experience is what's going to get you where you need to go. Classes, of course, are important too, but definitely the experience piece.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, as we kind of like finish out this semester, we got about a week and a half left or so.
Oh, thank God.
Glory to God.
Thank God.
It's just like, this is it. Like, my parents have already bought tickets to, not tickets, but like bought like an Airbnb, and some in my extended family to come here and watch my graduation. Like it's that time, like I'm at the point now where I keep telling people, I'm like, I gotta pass now. Like, I gotta, I can't not pass this assignment. I can't not graduate. I can't, because they it's not even just them, but it's a personal thing. I literally put things in motion to make sure I graduated on time because they was playing with me and I got it done still. So it's not even just for them. It's for me. I want to get out of here. And I know you want to get out of here too. You know?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get my cap and gown, get out of here. I'm gonna get like Darius. I'm trying to get like Darius.
I'm trying to get like Darius.
Darius was on the pod about 6 episodes ago, whatever, for the NFL episode. He graduating in
December.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
two weeks or so. Like, I'm trying to get like that, man. And I'm just trying to make sure I have internships and all that type of stuff. And actually, I would like to speak to that just a little bit about, because not even just in our major, but in just about every major, you need experience at somewhere. And I was just talking to a sophomore like yesterday, and I had seen him around and I talked to him before. Mm-hmm. And instead of making small talk, I said, what year? You sophomore? Okay, yeah. I said, yo, get an internship. Like, I'm like honestly, like, because even with the A's locking yesterday, I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I love having conversations about random stuff, yada, yada, yada. But like, I'm at a point now where I'm trying to help people, or you trying to help me. Of course, we trying to have fun stuff still, but like, we need to be helping each other out on a business aspect more. We have all this fun and working these oars and all this type of stuff. But what about professional help and actually telling people what they need to know? What about what classes do they need to take in order to graduate? The 3 classes that we have to take in our major to graduate. Like, all those different types of things. Like, I feel like those conversations should be had more.
I do too. And I feel like, especially if you're a senior, I feel like your give back should be adopting those freshmen and those sophomores and juniors and teaching them, learning and showing them how it should go, because we love our advisors. We do. We love them very much. But a lot of times they may misstep. And so I think it's important to have a mentor, who can show you the way, who can kind of guide you and lead you. And it's even on a personal aspect too. When you have someone who is around your age who can kind of push you and advocate for internships and doing schoolwork and projects and things like that, you're more apt to go and do those things, because there's somebody who's been in your shoes, and I can look at this person and say, they're where I'm at, so I can go ahead and follow through. But yeah, I definitely think internships are so important.
Very.
Like, I couldn't even say it enough. Like, even fellowships, like, we can't forget about fellowships.
Those
Fellowships
count.
are also great as well.
And you get, paid to
to
work for them and like living situations and stuff.
Yep. Conventions and things like that, because that'll all show you, like, for this past summer, with ABJ, we were able to go to Las Vegas.
Before I joined.
And it's okay, Ju. It's okay.
I know.
God is going to work out. He's going to work out.
I know.
But we were able to go to ABJ, the national convention over the summer. And
Can you tell people what that is?
Okay, so basically, the National Association for Black Journalists hosts a career convention every year. And so those who are part of the organization, usually they can go. With Morgan State University, we were actually able to go for free because the school paid for our chapter to go. So that's what that is. And while you're there, you make connections. There's workshops. There's internship opportunities. There are a lot of people who work in the field who actually go to those things. So it's like, it's really just like a family reunion for journalism majors. But you also can make a lot of connections there as well. And I think that is so important. Like, and I know that they have conventions not just for journalism, but they have them for business. I'm sure they have them for the STEM department as well.
Oh, word? They have stuff for that?
Yeah, because I think our research program just went to California.
You're talking about for the school as a whole? Okay.
Yeah. So like, there's different areas where you can go to conventions and stuff like that. But networking is so important, and definitely get into those internships because it's definitely gonna help. But on the burnout piece, make sure you're learning to say no. That's what I learned.
Oh, look at you.
We in here, y'all. We learned to say no. It took me 4 years, but I'm here.
Oh, wow.
And I can say no. I'm not doing that. Sorry.
I would like my credit for the help that
I give Julian like 2 cents on that. 2 cents.
2 cents out of what?
2 cents.
Out of
the dollar. 2 cents.
Whatever. All right, whatever. Oh, Lord knows. Lord knows. Uh, but yeah, listen, I'm about burnt out a little bit too. But you got to get rejuvenated by what the things that hold you together. For me, I'm assuming for you as well. God, a family, friends. Really, like, I've been reading the Bible more often. I think I'm on Luke chapter 11 right now.
Okay.
I'm starting at Luke because I want to read the story of Jesus, and then kind of go from there. Yeah. So, and then I also do our devotionals and stuff. I got a little group chat for devotionals and stuff. So
Love devotionals.
I think I need a little bit more though. That's why I was trying to start reading that or try to do a little bit more with that, because I feel like that'll help me be more in tune with God and Christ and everything. It's a personal choice. Like a lot of things, like I tell people, like nobody's forcing me to do this stuff. The choices that I make, they're personal at this point. My parents had an effect on it, of course, and the people around me have an effect on it. But if I was listening to everybody around me, I wouldn't be, doing this podcast. If I was just listening to, every single person, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be a Christian anymore. Like I wouldn't be as devout in certain different things as I am. But I have to make these personal choices based off of, the information that I gather and praying and talking to God and things of that nature. I kind of want to dive into that just a little bit because I'm a PK, preacher's kid and everything, and you're also a PK,
yes, I am.
double PK squared.
I'm not a PK squared.
PK squared.
My mom is a minister, but my grandparents are pastors. So.
Both of them?
Yeah.
GPK squared. I mean, GKP.
Anyways. Yes, a line of pastors in the family.
We love that. We actually do. We love it. I mean, like I like that had a huge effect on me growing up because, dude, it's like I'm the preacher's kid. Like he was like second preacher, but like still like like I was. It was like, oh, he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't, like that time. I talked about with Josiah in the last part I had, but I was like, dude, like I'm a normal person, just like don't put me on this pedestal. And that's why you hear about like a lot of PKs and stuff end up going off the deep end for a while because they get pressured to be a certain way, and then they end up rebelling because y'all thought of them to be a certain way. And that happens you could think about it when it comes to athletes and stuff of that nature. Because they get pressured to be a certain way and do that, they end up doing other stuff because it's like, I need a break from this. I need to prove to them that I'm not this way. It's an interesting thing. I mean, have people ever like come up to you in that type of way before with that stigma?
I still get that today. Like just wearing Christ on my back, people hold me to a certain standard. Now I don't mind it because at some point it does become an accountability piece because people look to you as an example essentially. So I don't mind it, but I think that there's a line that needs to be drawn too. Like when we look at Christians or even when we look at preachers' kids, they're going to fall. And I was talking about this in another podcast too. They're like, we are human. We're not perfect, and I'm not Jesus. I will never be
Julian,
perfect.
bro.
Literally, like I'm Ash. Like I will never be a perfect person. So I'm going to fall. I'm going to sin. And you don't have any say in my relationship with Christ. You don't, because it's like this. It's not this. So yeah, I definitely still even get that today. But what I've learned is I'm going to do me regardless. And the conversations that I have with the Lord are what I have with the Lord. And he will give me the convictions if I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. So, but it took me a while to get there too, because it definitely is a lot of pressure being a preacher's kid and growing up with the spotlight on you. Your entire family and even other people in the church are looking at you and your family, because you are the first family. You are supposed to set the example. And then of course you don't want to disappoint your parents, because they they teach and they uphold the household rules and regulations. And of course you don't want to disappoint them. So it definitely is a lot of pressure, but at some point you have to learn to relinquish it too. And it's good to walk in Christ. It's definitely good to walk in Christ, but it's also good to learn and experience as well. And that's not to say to put yourself out there and force yourself to experience, but there will be times where you're going to have those experiences where you're going to need Christ. So
oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, for me, one thing that is, I mean, it bothers me to a certain extent. It's just how some people like come up to me and be like, yeah, that's why he's so Christ-like, or I don't know, like it's just sometimes it's just out of like context. Like I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's just sometimes you expect me to be a certain way. Like I talked about it on here a few times. Like I cuss. Like it's whatever. I don't want to cuss all the time though. I think it's more so it's something that I'm still figuring out for myself. Because it's a form of expression for me. It's not the end all be all, but it's still a sin regardless. And I can own up to that. But like it's just like little things, like if I do that or if I do something else that they just don't expect, that I have desires just like everyone else, you know, and just things of that nature. And when they just come up to me and act like, oh my gosh, you think that way? Like, bro, I'm a man. Like I'm a man. Like you're a woman. Like bro, like why? Like let's not act like I'm just some crazy like super devout, like super, oh, you can't do this type person. Like no, I'm like, bro, I'm a 21-year-old senior college student. Like come on, like let's be real here. Like I'm not like everybody else. I know that for sure. But at the same time, if you really my friend, you should know like I'm a regular person just like yo. Of course I'm different. Everybody's different, and I know that I like the way I choose to go about different things is, I mean, yeah, different things are different. Like I get that, but at the same time, like I'm just sick of having to be like, yeah, like I think like that sometimes too. Like I have problems too, like, or I want to have fun too. Like it's just again personal choices that I make. Just because I make a personal choice doesn't mean that I don't have desires and I don't make mistakes or think about making mistakes just like the rest of y'all. I'm only human, and that's why literally Jesus died on the cross for our sins, so we can be human and be able to bounce back from these mistakes and stuff. We're 21. I mean, you're 21 too. Yeah, we're both 21 years old. Like, but you know, we're people at the end of the day, you know.
And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that in church we don't have those conversations. Like we don't have conversations about what's real, like what actually lives in our brain. Like we don't have those conversations because everything is don't do this, or this will happen.
That's the problem.
And so because we don't have those open and candid conversations about what's real, like what I could actually experience as a Christian living in a world that is corrupt, then you have people who think, oh, you're not supposed to think that. Well, why can't I think that? Why can't I think that? I'm human. Like I'm gonna have those feelings. I'm gonna have those thoughts. It's really just about what you do with them after. But I do think that we just have to have more real conversations about, you know, the life of being a Christian and a human. And it's sad to say that we even have to put those two, like we have to separate those two. But you know, we are humans still, and we do still have thoughts, and we still have feelings, and you know that's just gonna happen. You know, it is.
Great job, Reverend Wilson. Great. Have you ever preached a sermon before?
No, I taught a Bible study.
I mean, I was there. Yeah. I was there.
Which Bible study were you at?
The one CTC.
Oh yes, Jude.
Yes,
Jude was at that Bible study. I taught another one earlier this semester, I think.
Oh, you did? See, yeah. I ain't see you over there, so like I didn't know what your status was with them stuff.
Yeah.
You be busy, you know. You can't.
Booked and busy.
You're not Superwoman.
I'm not. I'm not.
Oh, she says it.
I'm not Superwoman. Okay. I can't do everything.
All right, fine. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure you understand. Just two more quick things. I know you. did you start listening to music a little bit more since you got a little more free time and everything?
That's a good question, Jude. This year, I really have not been listening to a lot of music.
Really?
Like a lot of, I'll say a lot of secular music. Yeah.
So a lot of hallelujah.
Yeah, like
Lord, we love you.
I'm kind of.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Separated myself a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I will listen every now and then. Like, I haven't completely cut it out, but I haven't been listening to music as I used to.
No, that's fine. But there's just one thing I wanted to talk about in regards to the end of the year Spotify and Apple Music Rap.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you probably haven't looked at it yet.
No, I have not.
That's fine. But
let's see yours though, Jude. What we got going on?
Whoa. I got a little something going on, you know. But yeah, so my rap is interesting to say the least. It's very diverse.
Okay.
I would say that would be the proper way of putting. What the fuck? So I was like, what the hell? That was Yaz thing. You know the Yaz apothecary.
Oh, okay.
You know that one. Yeah. See, like you can't open up your. You can't open
a lot
up
of stuff going on, child.
But my rap is actually pretty good. I like my rap overall. I'm looking at it right here. Okay. Oh yeah, here it is. So out of my minutes listened, I've listened to 51,800 minutes of music / podcast too. Yeah, I am in the 90. That's more than 92% of listeners in the U.S.
Okay.
I'm on Spotify a lot.
I see.
I be playing it in my sleep sometimes too, though. So, my top song was "Put on a Smile."
That is my song.
I'm trying to put on a smile, put on a smile.
That was a good album.
What?
That was a very
phenomenal
good
album. Phenomenal album.
Yeah.
I streamed it 47 times. 47.
Okay, I can understand that because I streamed Brandy's album B7 like literally.
I have to listen
all the time. Oh my god, it's been like 3 years since you dropped that.
See, listen, I can't listen to everything. All right, my top songs were a lot of R&B. You already know what it is.
Heard you.
Actually, every song was R&B. Is my top songs. Put on a Smile, number 1. Melt by Kalani.
I love that song. You actually put me onto that song.
I did.
Yeah, you were playing it in your car. I was like, oh, let me Shazam this real quick.
Shout out Charnay. Charnay is the reason why I did. I have to get her on here too. But I didn't know she dropped this album. And you know what's funny? I just found this song back in September.
What, Melt?
Yes. And it's my second most played song. That's what I'm saying. Like, Put on a Smile, I've known about it since the end of last year.
Right.
Melt, it's a 2-minute song though.
I love it. It's
so
good,
that's why it's easier for me to stream it. It was close to being. I'm surprised that one of my other songs is on here because it was high. It was kind of high though. But that's because there are 2 songs for it though. But you know how like you have a single and then you have it on the album.
Yes.
So I think it was
separated
because sometimes I play either one. Then number 3 was After Last Night, which is the prelude. No. Yeah, it's the prelude to Put on a Smile.
How does it go?
After last night, I think I'm in love with you.
Okay, yeah.
Woke up and I can't get you out of my head. I tried.
Yeah,
that one.
We hit.
Then Girl Like Me, with Jasmine Sullivan and her.
Sing it.
As I would have given, it ain't right how these be winning, why they be winning.
Oh yes, why they
be. She was walking us down.
Yeah. That's a good one.
And then last one was Good Days by SZA.
Oh, that one's really serene. I love
yeah,
because
she made her deluxe.
Yeah.
Remember earlier in the year? I think it was like during the summer. Maybe before that. Either way, very good. Very accurate for me personally, And then my most streamed.
Of course.
My most
J.
streamed,
Cole.
artist, J. Cole,
J.
Cole
Cole.
World. You already know. 3,205 minutes listened to.
Shout out to Jay. We love him.
I'm in the top 0.5% of listeners.
Oh my gosh. Top 5% is crazy.
0.5.
0.5. Okay. Let me see.
That's better. I'm in the top 0.5%.
That's insane.
That means I'm better than the 1%.
Basically, he's saying he's a fan.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, bro. That's my boy Cole World. And then my top artists were J. Cole. Mm-hmm. Her, who that's my baby. That's the most beautiful girl and beautiful woman. And I just beautiful, man. The shades though. Oh, be killing them. Then you got Chance the Rapper #3, then Rod Wave and XXXTentacion.
Okay.
I'm surprised Billie Eilish wasn't on here. She was on here last year, but it kind of flip flops. But these are usually my most played artists every year, and Cole is usually number one because Cole World. I was listening to Snow on the Bluff recently. You remember that one?
Sing it.
Dang, I gotta sing everything for you. You don't remember because you don't be listening to music. I scroll through a timeline. These wild times in the start of the sea. She mad at these captains. She's mad at these crackers. She's mad at these captains. She's mad at these murder police. She mad at my niggas. She mad at her ignorance. She wear her heart on her sleeve. I think she talking about celebrities. I love she be thinking she talking about me. Now I ain't no dummy to think that I'm above criticism, but when I see something that's valid as listens, but wait, there's something about the Quitone that's bothering me. You don't remember that song?
No. Which album was that on?
This was it was a single. It was during the remember when No Name said something about J. Cole? This is the song he had made.
Oh,
this one.
Oh, we hit.
And then I love the ending of it.
Yeah.
The whatever, bro. That I be floating.
He had to think for a second, y'all. Did y'all see that? He said,
I be floating,
that's
bro.
Good.
It's a good song. It's a good song. It's the end of the pod. You be talking. And I top podcast too, but that's not here. You know the Just Different podcast, right?
No, wait, Just Different.
Yeah, this one, the gospel one, the one about Christ and everything. It's a Christian podcast. Faith, life, and culture.
I've seen them on TikTok. Yes.
I haven't seen them on TikTok. I don't be on TikTok.
Yes, I've seen them on TikTok. They have really great conversations.
Yes, they do. You should listen to the full podcast. They're really good.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a Christian and things of that nature.
I'll take a look.
They have a lot of episodes. The episodes are usually somewhere between like 20 minutes to like 40.
Okay.
And sometimes like an hour long one, but usually, it's really good podcast. I gotta listen to them a little bit more, but yeah. Also, Earn Your Leisure. That's a really good podcast about health, wealth, and just things of that nature, finance tips and things of that nature.
That's good.
NPR's up first, most listened to. That's a news podcast, and I have Through the Wire. It's a basketball podcast.
Okay.
Then it's Just Different podcast. Then it's Old Man and the Three with JJ Redick. Do you know about that one? And then Earn Your Leisure. Knowledge. Oh, so this is a cool thing that Spotify started doing, right? It's called My Listening Personality, right?
Okay.
So they call me the early adopter. So this is my type of like listening, whatever.
Okay.
So it says, I've got my finger on the pulse of new music, always seeking the next hot thing. If a song is trending, I'm on it. So it says ENVC: exploration, newness, variety, commonality.
Oh, I like that Spotify does that.
And that's why it's superior.
Okay.
Than Apple Music.
Too much.
It's better than Apple Music. I'm sorry. It just is.
That is subjective. Do not listen to Julian.
No, it's
Apple Music.
It's correct.
Top tier.
Apple Music doesn't have this.
It may not have that, but it definitely has your most listened to songs, most streamed songs.
Yeah, but Spotify rap literally became like a trend because it's just that much better. Spotify has more curated playlists as well.
I am an advocate for Apple Music.
And that's just incorrect. It's incorrect.
I will stick beside Apple Music. We love her.
Love her.
She's here, right here. You can't
even see it. Yeah.
She's here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see? Yeah. That was good.
It's terrible. Also, my top genres were rap, R&B, pop, Hollywood. I don't know what that means. And indie soul. Indie soul makes a lot of sense though, because you know I love me some singing.
Wow.
You already know. You want to run them down too? Run them down.
I don't
real
know
quick.
if I could top that, Jew.
Stop that. You be killing runs. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Imagine just going up to a singer and saying, "Can you run for me real quick?"
Can you just run for me real quick?
Where am I running to?
Anywhere you want. Run.
Juelz.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna make clips of like
no, literally of me just saying Juelz.
Of different people doing it at this point, because everybody they got me yesterday. I won a blanket, and I won a blanket, right? And the Delta girl, she was the one being the MC or whatever. She remembered my name because they say my full name, Julian Johnson. Come up and get your prize. And she's like, "Oh wait," because I had just sang for them the night before for the World AIDS Day thing. I think I told you about that. And it was like, she kept saying Juelz, Juelz. So when
it's a stamp now. That's
so
what he's known for.
when I went to go get my stuff, they was like, Juelz, can you do it for me real quick? All right, Juelz. You know, I did. You know, I had to add a little, whatever on the end of it.
Okay. Y'all, he just took us through the whole skill. Don't play with my man.
Shout out Darren, bro. He helped me with that. But as we close the podcast, I got one more thing. This is a question I've been trying to ask everybody. I was in an English class. That wasn't my English class earlier this year, I just, I know people in the English department, so I went to go check it out, right? And so he had a question that he asked people, right? And so if you had one character that represents you or resembles you the most, who would it be? But they can't look like you. You see what I'm saying? But it can be from any movie, TV show, cartoon, theater, play, etc. Get you thinking, huh?
Yeah, that's a good question, Jewel.
Yeah, I stole it.
That's a really good question.
Get you thinking, huh? Yeah, turn them wheels. Turn them wheels.
Yeah,
I got you.
I got it. So I used to love the Disney movie Tangled. That was like my favorite movie as a young girl.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that I'm like Rapunzel.
Okay.
And let me tell you why. Because I always felt trapped. Like I always felt like I couldn't branch out because I had doubt. I had so much doubt. And so in my mind and even in reality, I was so trapped. And it wasn't until I allowed myself to like literally just start doing, like literally just walking into purpose, that I was able to see like you're not trapped. Like you're only trapped in your mind. Like if you allow yourself to stay trapped in your mind, you'll forever be trapped in reality. But if you learn to step out on faith and literally just take the leap and go, you'll understand that your purpose is so much greater than staying trapped in that tower. So yes, I would say I'm like Rapunzel. I don't got long hair like her, but she had purpose beyond that tower, y'all. Don't let me start preaching in here. The purpose is past the tower, okay?
Oh,
you better step out. But yeah, I would definitely say I'm like Rapunzel.
Lord,
that's good. Take us in.
All the praise you deserve it.
Y'all,
I'm singing today.
One thing about me is I'll get up and start shouting. Don't play.
Don't.
You
better stop. You better stop.
No, but that was a good question, Jude. What about you?
It was. I've said this several times, but it's this character called. I told you I'm in anime and things of that nature. This character called Luffy, right? He's in One Piece. Just to explain it again, he wants to find the One Piece, which is to become Pirate King. Now, I don't really want to be exactly a king or anything, but the main thing that he wants to do is be free.
Right.
And you know me, I'm really about having my free time Even though I do a lot, like I try my hardest to be a free person and like really like I don't have a job, I just, the Lord be working out for me,
Amen.
like I find ways to to do that type, to make money and to do things. And like I'm more so of a fan of, if I do work, it's gonna be work that is leading towards something.
Yeah.
And like my organizations and things of that nature, they're all for a purpose. I joined Smooth for a brotherhood.
Right.
I'm in NABJ because that's my career field, but I'm like, I need to be more involved in that. Bear TV, I need to be more involved with that, like, because I was like, that's stuff I want to do. So I did my podcast. Like I do all these different things, and at the same time, I usually don't have bad rapport with a lot of people because I just like, and just like, because Luffy, he brings people together, and I feel like that's something that I do overall. Like I can bring people together. Once I get over my mental hurdles sometimes, but like like just being like, yo, people like actually legit like me, and I have like great favor with God and just with a lot of different people because I treat people right. And I'm make my mistakes, of course, like that's, again, it goes to the conversation earlier, but like my main thing is just being free. And I make a lot of, and Luffy makes mistakes, and he's a loudmouth as well, just be yapping. He's not the brightest of the bunch at all, but when it's time to get things done, he gets it done.
Yeah.
And that's the type of person that I feel like I am. And that's why I think I'm like him. But yeah, that about wraps up the podcast. We're actually at hour 30, which is usually what I'm usually at for this.
That's good.
So you got anything you want to plug? Any last words first? Any last words and things of that nature that you want to say? Thank you again for being a guest on the pod, Ashlyn J. Wilson. I'm always say that. So what you want to say, homie?
I think something that I will leave with everyone is, because I know we talked about burnout and stuff like that, but specifically towards college students, stay in the fight. Keep going, keep fighting. The finish line is almost there. And stay encouraged. Surround yourself with people who are going to uplift you, people who are going to hold you accountable. And of course, if you're a believer, of course, trust and believe that God is going to work out for you. And if you're not a believer, trust in the people that are around you to uphold you and lift you up. But yeah, that's kind of what I believe. And if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, Jew is a great person to contact. Jew will give you the best advice. He'll keep it real with you. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thanks, Drew.
I do my best. I'm trying not to say try anymore. Say
you do. Yeah. That's good.
It's
intentionality.
It's a learning curve. But again, thank you so much for coming on. I'm about to do a string of women on the pod.
Woman on the pod.
Has only been. I think you are the fourth or fifth.
5 go live.
Wait, Lena, Diamond, 1, 2. I can't think of it. I thought I had some. Oh, Kasha.
Oh yeah, shout out to Kasha, Miss Morgan.
Might be the fourth. I think you're the fourth.
Okay.
On the Giannis episode too.
Four score.
I must like you if I put you on the Giannis episode.
Oh,
you know Giannis is my guy. You know what I mean? But as you all know, socials is at JUELZ_IS Juelz _is or IS. So you want to say that real quick? I'm gonna put it in the description as well. But say your socials or whatever you want, or whatever you want to promote.
My Instagram is ASHLYNJ, the letter J, Wilson _. That's my Instagram. That's my main point of contact. But if y'all want to add me on Pinterest, y'all can add me on there too.
Pinterest is crazy.
No, I love Pinterest, y'all. If you want to add me on Pinterest, it's AshCash, 3 H's for each one. So Ash Cash out. Yeah, here we go. That's my Pinterest. Make sure y'all follow me on there.
Yes, it's so funny how everybody has like their different social media ones, like
Pinterest is popping.
No, that's fine. But like me, I'm Twitter and Instagram.
Got you.
If I go on TikTok, I won't see daylight. I can't. So, and I like my Instagram because I have to contact people through there.
Yeah.
And my Twitter, it's just hilarious. So I can't not be on Twitter. Plus, I get my information from Twitter as well.
Respect
that. So if I add TikTok, I said I can't do it. I can't do it. I won't be productive.
I'm on TikTok as well if y'all want to follow me on TikTok.
It's the same as your IG, right?
It's Ash Cash.
Oh, it's Ash Cash. My fault.
Add me on TikTok.
You know, she like her aesthetically pleasing stuff, being a goofball with her family and other people. Put me on the I'll be But that about wraps it up for the podcast. I appreciate y'all for listening. Thank y'all for if y'all showed up and stayed all the way to the minute 39 and 30 seconds, 31, 32, 33. You get the point. Thank y'all so much again. I really appreciate it. We're back after 2 weeks, technically 3 weeks technically, because you got to count the week that I posted it as well. But we're back. But I got some things on the way where I'm about to be moving again, so guys moving in my life, so I can't always do the podcast. When I do it, I need y'all to like this up. I need y'all to subscribe. I need y'all to comment. I need y'all to do all that stuff, please, because it helps me grow. Because I love this podcast, and this was my introduction into the world of multimedia. And I'm always going to be doing this or some variation of this, no matter what. So yeah, tell me what y'all want to see as well. So and peace out. All right, peace.